Alright YouTube, and welcome back to another episode. Now, if you are a competitive golfer of all levels that feels like all of your hard work, effort on the range, practice on the putting green and training sessions in the gym just isn't paying off, and you're not really seeing that next level or that next gear that you know you're capable of, no matter how hard you work, then I'm going to show you exactly why today and how to fix that. Because it's likely that you are approaching improvement, self-development, the development in your game, the wrong way around. Now, that is no fault of your own. You probably just haven't been taught what I'm about to show you today. So most golfers start with what and how they need to change. Like, how do I need to train differently? How do I need to practice differently? What swing changes should I make? The pre-shot routines that I can tweak and change, my putting stroke, the ball that I'm playing with, the equipment I'm playing with, the coach that I'm using, where I spend most of my time and change location. But how many times have you seen or tried to do those things yourself, but eventually nothing major actually changes, and you sort of like rack your brain and scratch your head a little bit as to what is really going on, because I've tried to change some things and now you're wondering why nothing actually changes. And the reason being is because it's not the plan. The problem is that you're trying to change things without actually changing who you are fundamentally, the beliefs that you have about yourself, the identity that you have around yourself. Now, I'm about to show you a model that was created by a guy called Robert Dilts, and essentially you'll see this model, and the further up the model you get, what you change higher up the levels has the bigger impact on how you show up and perform every single day. Because, like I said, it's not the strategies or tactics that determines how you perform under pressure. It's the energy that you show up with, the way that you think when a bad shot happens and you respond to it through challenges and through adversity, the way that you behave when a good score is on the line, let alone a bad one, and the way that you talk to yourself, either on the first tee or in between shots. And also how you approach practice, how you approach everything that you do off the golf course as well. Because it's not technique, it's identity. And until you realize that, you will not perform under pressure, or at least perform in a way that you know you can under pressure, and not access that next level of performance. This is a model called Logical Levels of Change. It was created by a guy called Robert Dilts. And it basically explains that change, or displays that change happens in 6 different levels. And it comes from your environment, as in like what's around you, where you spend most of your time, your behavior, so what you do and how you show up every single day, your capabilities, how you do what you do, whether it's on and off the golf course, your beliefs and values, so what you think is true about yourself and the world, but also what's important to you, and your identity, who you are. Purpose comes a little bit later, and only until you've addressed some of this stuff from identity down. Now, the main thing about this model is that the higher up we go and make significant change in those areas, the more impact it has on everything below it. So you change your environment, your real problems aren't going to go anywhere. You change your identity and everything changes. So what we start with is who? Who am I? Right? Essentially your identity. Who am I on the golf course? Who am I off the golf course? Who am I on the golf course when I'm at my best? Who am I on the golf course when things are not going so well? What standards do I play up to, regardless of the score and everything that's going on around me? What do I want my caddy, my coach, my playing partners to say about me? Essentially, these are like labels, identity descriptors, whether it means dad, father, professional golfer, human that just plays golf competitively and for money. Whatever you see fit about you and yourself as to who you are, this is what goes in this section. Because until you change the way that you see yourself, nothing else will change. And when you change the way that you see yourself, you change the way that you see the world. And when you change the way that you see your world, you think, feel and perform on completely new levels. Next, we have what's important to me. So my beliefs and my values. Beliefs are entrenched lines of code deep in the unconscious mind. And until you go back and start to reprogram them, you will continue to have the same beliefs about yourself and the same beliefs about the world. And do you know what the funny thing is about the beliefs? Say if you believe that you're not good enough, you're not worthy enough, anything that is going to harm your performance and the way that you show up, because essentially whatever those limiting beliefs that you have going on in the background affect the way that you show up, behave, think and feel out on the golf course and off the golf course. They're the things that control your behaviors every single day, your thoughts every single day, your emotions every single day, your responses to everything. And your values are what's important to you, and we often don't need to make these up. We show them in the way that we act, in the way that we behave. And if I followed somebody around for a week, I'll be able to see what's important to them. I'll be able to see what their values are, whether it's honor, whether it's respect, whether it's integrity, whether it's excellence, whatever those things are, I'd be able to see. And inside Pressure Proof Golf, we are able to identify these to make sure that we are in alignment with them. Because when we are in alignment with them, our focus, our energy and our flow are a lot easier to create so that we can go out and perform in a way that we want to, consistently. So essentially you figure out, well, what do I stand for as a golfer? And what do I choose to believe about myself and about the game and about the world? Especially when you're tested, especially when you're under pressure. What do I want to represent on the golf course? Commitment, courage, discipline, composure, trust, creativity, consistency. What do I believe about pressure, mistakes, momentum? What do I believe about my decision making under pressure? What do I want to believe about the 18th hole? Or when I'm stood on the 18th tee, and it matters. But essentially when we figure these out, it will bleed down into everything else that we do on a daily basis, and especially in tournaments. So moving on to the next level, how and what will I learn? And essentially these are skills and our capabilities, right? Many personal development coaches fail at helping their clients because they focus only on behavior versus how the client sees themselves. So essentially, once you've changed how you see yourself, your beliefs, your values, your identity, you need to figure out what capabilities that you possess. What mental skill makes the biggest difference to my scoring? What skill helps me most after making a mistake? What skill helps me commit when I feel a little bit uncertain? Is it the emotional control of my recovery? Is it the self-talk? Is it pre-shot routine? Post-shot response, handling the pressure? But as you can see, this is third down in the line. Now, most people like to read books, listen to podcasts and try and change this stuff before they've done the work above this. So I'm not saying that this isn't important, but you can already see this is number 3 down in the list. So we've got who are we, our beliefs and our values and what's important to us and how we see the world, our skills and our capabilities, so how and what will I learn? And then we have, what will I do differently? So essentially, these are behaviors. What do you do consistently as a golfer? Your standards in practice, in tournament weeks, and shot to shot out on the golf course. What behaviors define you as a person in between shots? What behaviors define your response to a bad shot? And what behaviors define how you start and finish rounds? Not just that, but there are also things that you can change, like tangible things, material things that you can change in front of you. Go and get a new coach. Go and buy new clubs and equipment. Start to change your routines, your putting strokes, the ball that you're playing with, the golf course that you practice on. Again, like I said to you, most people start here. Nothing will fundamentally change about the way that you perform under pressure if you start here. So then, after your behaviors, it comes to when and where am I? Where you decide to spend most of your time to help improve things, whether it's with certain people in different countries, in different locations, or in different tours. But essentially, it's your environment, where it happens. The environment that supports your performance, your routines, and I mean structure across a week, like where you spend most of your time in the gym, the practice range, practice facilities, the people that you spend time with, the schedule, and your setup in how you approach competitions and tournaments. So essentially you want to figure out, well, what environment helps me feel calm, clear, committed? What does my ideal tournament week structure look like? What routines reduce noise and protect my focus? The best time of day for my practice, my warm-up structure, between round that works for me. Where do I sleep? What do I eat? And then you've got people, right? Who helps me stay grounded? Is my coach, my caddy, my physio, my family, my partner? Who do I avoid in tournament weeks? You know, who brings the negative vibes that I just don't want to listen to? What places do I avoid? As you're probably listening to me now, you're like, oh yeah, so I tried to change that, and hoping that thing at the top changes. But we have to work from the top down. If you start to change your identity, your belief and your values with the work that we do inside Pressure Proof Golf, it means that when you come to change your skills, your behaviors and your environment, it actually makes a difference rather than feels like you're just putting a big fat plaster over the top of it. And like I said, when you change how you see yourself, you change how you see the world. So it's not always about what you're doing and how you do it. It has to start with who you believe you are, how you see the world, your beliefs and your values. And once you've got them aligned, the skills, the capabilities, the behaviors and the environment can all complement everything else and actually make all of that work and all that hard effort that you put into becoming a better professional golfer, competitor and person show up, access it and perform better under pressure. So if that's something that you're interested in, then I'm going to drop something down in the description where you can actually have a little look as to how this all works. And if you're interested, you can book in right now a free mental performance audit where we can actually identify your biggest handbrake, belief and mindset blocker that's showing up for you during competitive golf and under pressure right now, and remove it within 60 minutes. So if that's something that you're interested in, either drop me a message on Instagram or have a little look at the link below. But until then, I'll see you in the next one.